specifically, the scriptures do not say anything about kids' sports.
Yes.
Shockingly. I don't know if you're...
I am aware of that.
Maybe like the Message or the Passion translation might have
Probably
some
the
stuff in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's no reference to basketball, even if you study the Greek and Hebrew. It's really, it's sad. Because I think,
it should be. It probably...
Like the disciples could have played some good 5-on-5 games.
Probably.
That would have been fun.
Yes. Welcome to this episode of Chapel Chat. I am Titus. I serve as the youth pastor at Christian Chapel, here with Chris, who is the lead pastor at Christian Chapel. And we are very excited to bring you a topic today that affects a lot listening and or watching, which is kids' sports and activities.
Yeah, we're not just coming for those sports families.
Theater kids don't get off.
Leave us alone.
Debate kids don't get off, right? We are coming for a band, choir,
dance.
Those
people are crazy.
We are all
I've heard.
liable and subject to pushing it over the line. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. Obviously, if you know me, I don't have any kids, but I don't have to look very far to see that there are literally endless activities, sports, opportunities for you to plug your child into. And really, it can become a huge drain on the family. It can become a drain on your child. It can become a drain on you and all the family members and friends involved coming to events and games, grandparents, aunts, uncles, a lot. So we're just going to discuss some of these key topics surrounding sports and activities. Because this pertains less to me because I don't have kids that would be involved in these activities, I can share a couple of personal stories.
But we are doing this with you in mind because you have future stage dad written all over you.
Yeah, and I have future force my child to practice baseball in the backyard for 5 hours a day with no end in sight written all over me.
Well, if you're lucky, they'll get a $450 scholarship one day.
Yeah, you were talking about that earlier. Apparently, it's not a very heavy.
Doesn't seem like the best payoff. I mean, I know people love baseball, and I don't.
There's no salary cap, so the potential is there in the MLB.
Well, yeah. When that's where they'll go, clearly.
Well, okay. So on that note,
you're starting with the proper, this is actually framework of a future pro that you're going to have.
It's actually a perfect segue.
Yeah, okay.
Because I was younger. I was probably a freshman in high school. I'm trying to think exactly what age I was. And I think I was either arguing with my parents about getting a part-time job because I didn't really want to. I wanted to really focus on my sports.
So you're going to be a pro?
Yeah, at least a Division I athlete. And I was arguing with them either about that or about grades. And I remember my dad sitting me and my two brothers down. And I don't remember how he said it, but I just remember at the end of the conversation, it was very apparent to me. I think literally the words just straight came out of his mouth of like, nobody here is going to be a professional athlete. Nobody here will probably play Division I athletics, is what he had said. And I remember after that crying. I'm young. I don't fully understand the weight of the world that was just dropped on my shoulders as a 13, 14-year-old teenager. But looking back on that, I actually honestly appreciated it. It gave me a good context. It gave me a good perspective of the things to focus on, how to prioritize my time and my schedule and my relationships and the opportunities I was given. And I really appreciate my parents just kind of having a good head on their shoulders and a level head on their shoulders, because who knows how far I would have taken that. There are obviously tons of benefits to being involved in sports. Obviously, if you think, I'm not going to be a professional athlete, so I just might as well not pursue anything, or I'm not going to go act on Broadway one day, so I might as well not pursue it at all. That's not true. That's not what we're talking about. There are some clear benefits. And so, Pastor Chris, what are some of these clear benefits from a Christian perspective, from a biblical perspective of your kids? We're talking to parents getting involved in these sports and activities.
I mean, sports activities, they're good for your kids. They bring a lot of fun. They bring a lot of structure. They bring all sorts of great opportunities. And so, we've been a sports family. So Angie and I are not particularly musical. We are not artistic at all. At all.
I've heard you
sing. No. Yeah. So, but never in public. While people knew. So those weren't really things that we did. I know other families are, and I think that's great. We didn't have the kids solving the Rubik's cubes or doing any of that kind of stuff. It's just not how they were wired, but they were wired for sports. And so when they were little, they played everything. And we just looked for things that would wear them out. So we'd play YMCA soccer, we'd play baseball. They played flag football. Audrey played volleyball. All of them played basketball. And we loved it. Angie and I both played sports growing up. And whether it's sports or it's theater or it's dance or it's drama or whatever it is that your kid gets into, those things are really good. They help your kid develop a work ethic, which I think is always important for every child to learn to set goals, learn to pursue goals. They help you deal with overcoming obstacles of, there are going to be times when you don't make the team, you lose the game, you don't get the part, you get cut from certain organizations, activities, and you have to learn how to deal with that. I think that's one of the beauties of sports and activities like that is it gives your kid a chance to fail in safe places and safe spaces and learn, like, when I feel like the bottom falls out of my life, how do I deal with that? How do I overcome? It gives a kid a chance to get honest feedback from people who aren't their parents or teachers. It gives you an opportunity to pursue different types of teamwork, where you're working with people from, like, for our kids, one of the great benefits, they all kind of eventually chose basketball. One of the great benefits for them is they've had experiences with people from all kinds of backgrounds, all kinds of different families, different socioeconomic situations. And it gives them the ability to interact and be comfortable in almost all those environments, and also sometimes can grow your appreciation for maybe some of the blessings that you have experienced in your life as well.
Absolutely. Makes sense. On that, are there any dangers?
How much time do we have? Yeah. So, I think the first danger of any kind of kids sports or activities is that sport or activity becomes the number one thing that drives your family.
Right.
So really, I would encourage every parent, before you start thinking, so like for you and Rachel, let's say you're going to have some kids over the next couple of years, before you start thinking about what do you want them to do, you really want to ask the question of who do we want them to be? Like, what are going to be the guiding characteristics, kind of the defining traits in our family. Mm-hmm. So for Angie and I, there were very simple things of, the most important priority for us in life is we want our kids to know, to follow Jesus. And so we want to surround them and make choices that make it easier for them to experience him, to understand the gospel, to have personal, powerful, transformational experiences of him. Because we think that's the only thing that's really going to last. Yeah. And so kind of dovetailing with that was a desire of, we wanted to raise our kids to love the local church, because we felt like that was always going to be the best place to encourage their faith, to find community, to find other friends who would have that same pursuit in mind. We want them to have healthy relationships with us as their parents, with each other as siblings, with their cousins. So we prioritize family time. We prioritize friendships that were healthy and life-giving, and really wanted to invest in those. And then we did want them to have a good work ethic. So we wanted that to be school with their academics. And then as they kind of got into athletics and other activities, we really wanted to push them. And ultimately, our goal for our kids has always been, we want them to grow up to be adults who love Jesus, love their spouse, love their kids, are hard workers at whatever God calls them to do, and find some meaning and purpose in life. So, before you start plotting maybe your future son's NFL career, right. Or you start making your daughter run 5-minute miles at 8 years old, maybe just stop and ask, in addition to all of these things, who do we actually want them to be? The problem is, if you ask the other question first of what do we want them to do, you start building life around that. Mm-hmm. And so then that's where the dangers come in of whatever your kid chooses to do. There's going to be someone or many someones or organizations ready to take all of your time and all of your money with the promise that they can make your kid the best at that. So in athletics, they're going to promise you, hey, we can help you get a college scholarship. Maybe if your kid is going the drama music route of, hey, we can get your kid on Broadway, we can get And all of that sounds really fun. Like who doesn't want a kid that achieves at the highest level in very like public facing ways? But that's not the primary goal of parenting, is to raise famous kids. It's to raise, successful, normal adults.
Yeah. At the core, who are they viewing themselves as, and who do they really believe that they are?
Yeah.
As a follower of Jesus, all of these things can then kind of follow in after that. Relating to what you're discussing around this idea of first prioritizing your relationship with Jesus, your identity rooted in Jesus, are there telltale signs where you might be prioritizing other things over that relationship with Jesus as a parent in your child's life?
Sure. Yeah, I think the first one would be just monitoring your time. If your kid's pursuit of whatever they're doing, whatever their activity is, whatever their sport, their hobby, their interest is, if their pursuit of that comes at the expense of, I don't have time for our family, I don't have time for my friends, I don't have time to be part of a local church. As a teenager, I don't have the ability to go to a youth group and participate. I can never go to youth camp. I can never go on a missions trip. We're missing on Sundays all the time. Those are pretty good clues that the priorities have twisted.
Yeah.
And that they're kind of facing the wrong direction. On top of that, you think, if your family is unable to eat dinner together a couple times a week because your kid or kids are pulling you in so many different directions, something's wrong. Now there are busy seasons, and Angie and I, we've learned that with our kids of, as they've pursued their activities, there are certain times of year where we know it's going to be really intense. But if busy seasons have turned into just a continuously busy life, you're harming your family's ability to connect. You're harming, if you're married, your ability to connect with your spouse, your kids' ability to connect with their siblings, their ability to do the things that God has called them to do. And so if you can't remember the last time you had an uninterrupted evening together, the last time maybe you had a free Saturday or Sunday where you just kind of hung out as a family, those are all clues that you're doing too much. And it's not necessarily when your kids are older and kind of in those teenage years where really they're pushing in this direction. But I think it's actually more tempting when they're little, because you can get busy in like a half dozen different activities for them where you've signed them up. Like they go to karate here, and then they have baseball there, and then they go to wrestling now, and then she's over here in dance right before she has volleyball. And you guys are just running, you're recruiting other family members because you can't even manage it yourself as parents.
Right. Rapid fire. For this rapid fire, I'm going to be asking Pastor Chris,
Okay.
if your
not
child,
the other one.
not Chris Godfrey, if your child came home and said, "Hey, I have this blank activity that you're going to come watch me participate in," on a scale of 1 to 10, how pumped would you be to watch them participate in this activity? Mom or Dad, I have a basketball game that I want you to come watch.
I'm going to be, I guess, 17.
Okay. Football. I'm going to go play this football game.
Probably going to be more of like a 6 because I'm going to be a lot more nervous.
Yeah,
with the build of my children. Please
Okay.
don't get hurt.
Yeah. I star in this theater production.
I'm going to be shocked. First, like I can't even put it on a 1 to 10.
2 phases to this. They're the star.
Okay.
What's your rating?
I mean, it'd probably be like it would either be a 15
Yeah.
or it'd be a 1.
Yeah, like you're just
because I'd just
so
be
nervous for
terrified
them.
of like, I don't know where this came from. Are you adopted? Do you have a secret like ability that we don't know about where you switched at birth? Like this doesn't live in me or Angie. So, is this like a High School Musical moment in real life where you discovered some hidden talent that we've never known about?
Okay.
Or did you do it as a joke and this is going to be a train wreck?
Right. Okay. No, the context is super serious. This is my passion. I'm going for this, and they're the star.
Then I'm a 15. Whatever my kid enjoys and is good at, I'm all in.
Choir concert.
Choir concert. Little known fact. I was in 4 years of high school choir.
So why don't we get a little bit more of that?
I was
on
in
the
high school
podcast?
choir because my 8th grade basketball coach was the high school choir director. And he told us,
There's
his
the
exact
lore.
words were, We need guys. It's an easy A. We watch a lot of movies, and it's a room full of girls.
Okay.
And so I
You're
joined
naturally, I'm going to be there.
high school choir.
There is lore behind that. It wasn't just you were interested in choir.
Yeah, no.
Band.
And again, if my kids are good and enjoying
so
it, yeah,
that might be the answer for all of these then.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. If they like it, I'm all in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. We're done.
I mean, I don't know. Like video games, though, I might have a different answer.
Sure. Thank you for tuning into this session of Rapid Fire. All right, we're back with one more. We're going to do one more. Parent-teacher conference.
Like -14. I do not want to go to a parent-teacher conference. I had to go to one once because one of my kids was clicking their pen too much in class.
Oh, wow.
And
You vowed never again.
I handled it well, but there were so many things I almost said, but I didn't. I handled it well.
That's really good.
Because Angie was with me.
There you go. We'll tell him to click it less, or her.
Take it away. Make it stop. Why am I here?
Yeah.
Like so many.
Take the pen out of his hand.
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you for tuning in to this rendition of Rapid Fire. You've obviously been in this situation where there is, and you are in this situation where there's legitimate talent of like, hey, he can go and get a scholarship. She can go play and get a scholarship and really pay for their college, if not most of it entirely, and then more, and be set up in that whole realm of trying to guard your time. How are you also, you brought it up earlier, guarding your money or knowing, okay, when is it too much that we're spending, or when is it too much time that we're investing? I mean, you kind of just touched on it right there, but there seems to be probably always an opportunity for somebody to take your money or somebody to take your time. And if somebody genuinely has a pretty good chance or a pretty good shot, how have you seen that play out in your own life where it's like, there is a legitimate opportunity here to set up a great future, and I don't want to miss out on that?
Sure.
How do you wrestle with that as a parent?
There's a couple questions I think you want to ask. First of all, again, kind of goes back to some of the other things we've talked about of the beauty of being in a multi-generational church is you can talk to people who've walked this road before you. So whatever your kid is interested in, find somebody else whose kids have been down that path and just talk to them of, hey, what did you learn? What do you think you did well? What would you change if you could go do it again? And specifically, if it's an activity, whether it's band, sports, something where you think this could help them get a college scholarship, have a very honest conversation with how much of a college scholarship can my kid get?
Right. Yeah.
Because I would almost guarantee in most kids' sports, unless you're getting like that Division I scholarship, and even then it's only in a handful of sports that offer like full tuition, full room and board, almost everything else is a partial scholarship. Mm-hmm. And so you really do just want to figure out like if we're spending tens of thousands of dollars between your 6-year-old summer and your 17-year-old summer, would we be better off just putting that into a college savings plan and playing at some lower levels where you still get to have fun and enjoy it, but we're not really kind of sacrificing everything for that? Because unfortunately, we've seen a lot of families who they put so much time and money into it, and then when it's actually like scholarship time, they're hearing that they're getting $1,500 a semester, $500 a semester, $4,000 for a year, which is great. And if your family was able to do that without creating financial hardship, that's wonderful. But unfortunately, you see families who they go into debt for kids' sports and activities. Yeah. They don't go on family vacations because of kids' sports and activities. You see Christians who will say, I can't give because of kids' sports and activities. We've seen teenagers who say, I can't go on a missions trip because my travel club was so expensive. My parents said I had to pick one or the other. Those, I think, are some of the signs as a believer of maybe our priorities are a little bit misplaced and we need to pay attention to it.
Yeah, I don't really want to brag here, but I did audition at ORU for a $500 vocal scholarship for the choir.
Did you get it?
No.
Oh. Had your parents spent tens of thousands of dollars on voice lessons for you growing up?
No, but I probably spent over 1,000 hours in choir practice all throughout high school.
There you go.
Not for the scholarship, but just as a cumulative experience.
Yeah, that was fine. But if your parents had hired a vocal coach and were paying them $1,000 a month for you to have all these lessons,
would have been a different scenario.
And then you find out, hey, the best we can get you is $500 a semester. And then you didn't even get that.
Yeah.
Man.
Now, again, I don't want to keep talking about this because it's very haughty and I don't want to brag. And so we can move on. And I want to move on because I wanted to ask about really like our Christian and our biblical worldview. All of this rooted in the Word. Is there any guidance from the Word that we can take in making some of these decisions? Or for you and Angie, has it been a lot of discernment? Has it been a lot of just situation by situation? We're just going to pray and seek what the Holy Spirit is leading us and guiding us to do in this decision for this kid.
Specifically, the scriptures do not say anything about kids' sports.
Yes.
Shockingly. I don't know if you're...
I am aware of that.
Maybe like the Message or the Passion translation might have some stuff in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's no reference to basketball, even if you study the Greek and Hebrew. It's really, it's sad. Because I think,
it should be. It probably...
the disciples could have played some good 5-on-5 games.
Probably.
That would have been fun.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. No, so there's obviously no clear, like, this is what you do, this is what you don't do. But there are repeated admonitions throughout the scriptures that parents are responsible for their children, that they are to teach them the ways of the Lord. And kind of the underlying thought behind all of those is the primary duty of a parent is to teach their children that their true identity is found in Jesus Christ as the sons and daughters of God. And that there is no achievement, there's no activity that is going to provide them with any greater identity or any greater security.
Yeah.
And that's really the appeal of all of these sports and activities is your kid is finding their identity in it. They're earning some kind of accolade. They're enjoying achievements. Other people are complimenting them and talking to them about it. And then that reflects back to you as a parent. And the enemy comes and really, I believe, attacks in those areas to try to get you as a parent to find too much of your identity in your kid's achievements and to try to convince your kid that what they're doing is who they are.
Yeah.
And so I hope, and I mean, I guess we'll find out over the next 10 or 15 years, I hope my kids know that their first identity is not as an athlete.
Yeah.
But it's as a son or a daughter of God. I hope they know. And Angie and I, one of the great things Angie started telling them when they were little was, I find joy watching you play. Yeah. And if you didn't play, I'd find joy watching you do whatever it is that God has called you to do. Just because I love you.
Yeah.
You're my son. You're
Solo
my daughter.
vocalist. Right.
Solo vocalist.
I'm still working that through in my own life of not attaching my identity too much to my athleticism. I'm still kind of struggling through that.
I would like to encourage you to cut those ties.
Titus, you are not.
I heard about how
athlete.
the church softball team is doing that you're a part of.
Titus, you are not an elite athlete. Yeah. We need to shape up, gentlemen, if you're on that. If you want to join the Christian Chapel men's softball team.
We're looking for ringers.
Yeah, we're looking for ringers. High school ball, college ball will do better. Semi-pro, AAA, AA, anything.
Definitely welcome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We've obviously covered benefits. There's some challenges for sure to just raising kids, especially figuring out what they're involved in, what they're not involved in. Practical tips, just your students, your kids are going to be involved in these things. What are just some lessons or rules for the road that they should have when they're embarking on these endeavors?
Yeah. So for us, as our kids were growing up, there were a few things we adopted. Some of them were things that our parents did with us. Others were things that we learned from people at Christian Chapel. And so again, our context has been primarily basketball.
Yeah.
But I think the principle can be applied to whatever activity your kid engages in. And so that's where we're trusting, whoever's listening to listen to the voice of the Holy Spirit, talk to other Christians who are doing the things you're doing, which is always a good test too of if you can't find any other Christian parents who are engaged in the activities your kids are engaged in, might be at least a warning sign. Yeah. That maybe these two things aren't compatible.
Sure.
But for us, we adopted some very simple, just kind of rules in our house of, first of all, when you're little, you don't get to miss church on Sunday or Wednesday for sports. And so we were always very upfront with coaches of, hey, we'll play in the tournament, but they're going to go to church first and then they can come. Or if you have a Wednesday night practice, we're not going to be there because we go to church on Wednesday nights. We just really felt like we'll give you 5 days a week that you can run practices and do things. We'll happily be there, but these two are reserved for our family. And we figured out, that most coaches were pretty willing to adapt to that, especially when kids are little. And the teams that weren't, we knew those weren't the teams for us. Mm-hmm. So we set that. Now there were times when they started getting that 4th, 5th, 6th grade where they started playing a few more tournaments and doing things like that. Again, we lived in Tulsa, so it was easy. The tournaments were in town. We would tell them, like, you can go to first service And if you have a teammate who wants to come pick you up, you're welcome to play. But mom or I can't get you there because we're going to be there for both. And then they were able to do that and kind of took some ownership of that process as well. We set rules with them. We had 3 kids. So we told them you can only play one sport at a time because we just don't have the capacity to have you in football and baseball simultaneously. And then you have multiple practices and we have multiple kids. And now we're chasing ourselves. We've had some friends we had 3 kids. They had 1, but their 1 played in more stuff than our 3 did combined. And it was just crazy to watch them do some of those kinds of things. We had some just personal financial decisions of we're not going to put league fees on credit cards. We're not going to go into debt for you to participate in these things. Basically, if we can't afford it, this must not be God's plan for you as our child right now. We also kind of along those same things, we didn't do any private training with them until they had proved that they would work out by themselves, that they were owning this process, that this was their idea, not our idea. And really just showing us the discipline and work ethic. And then we could have that discussion with them. But when they wanted to get better, our first response was never, let us find somebody to pay to help you. It was, let's see what you can do and what we can do and use advantage of the resources we have. And then when we kind of feel like we've exhausted that, we'll look at some other opportunities. And then really, we did not have like scholarship college type conversations with our kids till they were 14, 15 years old. And then that was about the point where it was a, hey, are you like, is this something you really want to do? And if so, this is what the path is going to kind of look like. Are you willing to do that? Do you want to pay that price? And as they said yes, even then we're navigating it because there are still people who are going to tell you, pull them out of school, put them in a prep school, do all these, and just some of that seemed silly. Yeah. And so just kind of going through that. And the reason we did that is we had watched a lot of families invest a lot of time and money into their like 8 through 13 or 14-year-old into a specific sport. And then the kid decided about 14, 15, 16, a lot of times it was around when they started driving that sophomore year of they didn't actually care. They didn't want to put the time in. They wanted to pursue other things. They wanted to get a job. But they had lost out on all these kind of childhood experiences, chasing something that their parents wanted, but it turned out they didn't really want for themselves. And then once they hit those, like we didn't really do the travel teams at a serious level until they hit that like 14, 15 kind of age. And even then, as much as we could, we tried to really manage that to where it was just for short seasons, not for entire years where you're gone all the time.
Yeah, and travel, you mean going outside of the Tulsa area. Or
correct,
going outside
yeah.
of the city
in the basketball
about.
context, it's you play your school season, and then spring and summer you're going to play on like a club team that's going to travel a little bit and do some things.
Not until high school, only seasonal.
Yep.
That was your perspective on it. That's awesome. It makes a lot of sense. I mean, have you seen, and I know like it's probably still developing and you're still watching this come to fruition. From my perspective, that makes a whole lot of sense. Like you're not sitting there just hovering over talking about a scholarship from the moment they're 6 years old of like, hey, you got to do everything that you can so that you can pay to go to college.
Right.
I'm sure that you've seen that really. I mean, I know you've seen that benefit your kids.
Yeah,
not until introducing it later.
There are families too who really do have to have that conversation with their kids from when they're little because they just look at the cost of college and think, hey, financially we can't swing that. You're going to have to get a scholarship.
Do you still think that's good though? Do you still think that it's good that they're having the conversation that young?
I think it's good if they're having it from the perspective of like, so let's be serious about our grades. Let's develop a work ethic. I don't think it's good of like your 9-year-old of you better learn to hit a curveball or you're never going to go to college. You're going to, like that's dumb. That's just really a parent projecting their desires onto their child more than is the child pursuing what they love.
Yeah, that makes sense. Are there any other things that you'd like to touch on or anything you'd like to say to close out here?
I would just encourage parents to enjoy the season of life you're in with your kids. Like let them try a bunch of different things. Don't try to get them hyper focused on one thing. If they're very young and they already are hyper focused, expand their horizons a little bit, give them some new opportunities, encourage them to try new things, and just take the pressure off. Like your 8 or 9-year-old, they're probably not making choices that are going to shape their future to huge degrees right now. So just enjoy it. Figure out how to be the encouraging parent. Figure out how to be present in those seasons. Don't carry a lot of stress or worry or anxiety with you, but just enjoy the season. Like it really is. Whatever your kid does, it's really fun to watch them do it. And it's fun to watch them do things where their heart kind of comes alive. It's fun to watch them set goals and achieve them. It's fun sometimes to get to feel like you get to be part of that process with them. And all of that is just for a really short period of life. And then they grow up and they graduate and they leave. And you want to look back as much as you can with appreciation for the time it brought you together. So in our family, like we love basketball. But one of the main reasons we love basketball is it's just created time for us to be together and opportunities for us to have non-threatening conversations between parents and kids, and just to kind of keep that a point of enjoyment and keep it as lighthearted, even as they grew up and it got a little more serious, still just kind of letting that be like, that's a fun space that we just get to talk about. So just enjoy it, have fun with it. Don't stress about it. Don't let someone else dictate your time or your finances or the identity of your child. Just be the mom, be the dad, step into those spaces with confidence and have a lot of fun.
Yeah. Just deep breath. It's going to be awesome. Enjoy the time with your kids.
Yeah. And if you got a delusional one like Titus was, at some point you might have to pop the bubble for him. But usually, especially now in the age of social media, the bubble gets popped.
I didn't have social media.
Yeah, the bubble gets popped pretty early because they start seeing like top 100 lists in 6th grade, which is stupid.
It's insane. I thought I was going D1 full ride and then, first round pick in the NFL draft. But you know what? Dreams got to be crushed at some point. Some dreams. And that dream needed to be crushed. We really appreciate you watching Chapel Chat. And we hope that you would like this video, subscribe to this channel, and we'll see you next time.